Don't miss the damages you can claim after a semi-truck collision. You're hit by a semi-truck. Your life turns upside down in seconds. But after the hospital bills, the rehab, the lost wages, most people don't realize what they're really owed. And by the time you do, it's often too late to claim it. I'm Doug Burnett, a personal injury attorney in Florida, and I've spent at least the last 30 years helping victims of truck collisions secure every dollar they're entitled to, not just what the insurance company offers first. This video walks you through the full list of damages you can claim after a semi-truck crash, from medical costs to long-term pain, emotional trauma, and more, so that you don't leave money on the table and don't get taken advantage of at your most vulnerable time. Number one, medical bills, immediate and ongoing care. Let's kick things off with the first type of damage you can claim after a semi-truck collision in Florida: your medical expenses. I see too many people miss out on just how much this really covers, so let's break it down. After a collision with a semi-truck, most folks know you can claim the bills you get from the emergency room, the ambulance ride, and maybe the surgery you need right away. That's true. But in Florida, you can actually claim a lot more than just those first obvious costs. Think about every doctor's visit, every physical therapy appointment, and even the follow-up imaging like MRIs or CT scans. Let's say you injure your back in the wreck and you need months of chiropractic care or specialized injections. That's claimable. If you require pain medication for weeks or months, or you need to buy medical equipment like a brace or a wheelchair, that's included too. But here's what many people forget. You can also claim the future medical care that you're likely to need. Maybe your doctors say you'll probably need surgery next year, or you'll need physical therapy for the next 2 years to fully heal. In Florida, you can claim those projected costs, and it's your lawyer's job to work with your doctors to figure out what those future costs are likely to be. I once had a client who was sideswiped by a semi on I-4. At first, she thought it was just a broken arm, and the hospital bills were hefty enough. But as time went on, it turned out that she needed 3 surgeries, months of rehab, and she'll likely have issues for the rest of her life. We made sure her claim didn't just cover the first hospital trip. It covered years into the future, so she wasn't left out in the cold later on. That's the first and maybe the most important category: medical bills, both now and down the road. Don't settle for just what's right in front of you. Number 2, lost wages and loss of earning capacity. Next up, let's talk about your income, both what you've already lost and what you might lose in the future. A semi-truck collision almost always means serious injuries, and for a lot of folks, that translates into missed work. In Florida, you can claim the wages you lost while you were stuck at home recovering or going back and forth to appointments. Even if you use sick days or vacation time, you can claim the value of those, because you shouldn't have to burn through those days for someone else's negligence. But it goes further. If your injuries are serious, meaning you can't do the same work you did before, or you have to take a lower paying job, you can claim what's called loss of earning capacity. That's a fancy way of saying if your career is derailed by this crash, you can get the compensation for the difference between what you would have made and what you can make now. For example, let's say you're a delivery driver and a semi-truck collision leaves you with a permanent knee injury. You can't do that kind of work anymore, so maybe you have to take an office job that pays less. That gap spread out over years until retirement can really add up. The law in Florida allows you to claim for that loss. I've seen cases where the loss of future earnings was actually the biggest part of the entire settlement. One client, a young mechanic, couldn't get back to the garage after his crash. We worked with experts to show what he would have earned over his career compared to his new reality, and made sure that that was included in his damages. If you're hurt in a semi-truck crash, don't just think about your next paycheck. Think about your entire earning future. Number 3, pain and suffering. More than just physical pain. Let's move to the third category, which is pain and suffering. In Florida, this is a real claimable damage, but a lot of people don't realize just how broad it is. Pain and suffering means exactly what it sounds like. It's not just physical pain, the soreness, the headaches, the sleepless nights. It's also the emotional toll. After a traumatic semi-truck crash, a lot of people deal with anxiety, depression, or even PTSD. Maybe you're afraid to drive again, or you have nightmares. Maybe your relationships suffer because you're always in pain and you just don't feel like yourself anymore. All of that is pain and suffering, and under Florida law, you can be compensated for it. Now, unlike medical bills or lost wages, it's not as easy to put a number on your suffering. That's where your lawyer experience comes in. We use things like doctor's notes, therapist reports, and even testimony from your family or friends to show how your life has been affected. One of my clients, a school teacher, developed major anxiety about riding in a car after a semi-truck crash. She also missed out on family vacations and couldn't pick up her grandchild anymore because of back pain. Her pain and suffering wasn't just the physical discomfort. It was the way her whole life shrunk after the collision. We fought hard to make sure she was compensated for all those losses, not just the broken bones. Don't let anyone tell you that your pain and suffering doesn't count or can't be proven. In Florida, your daily struggles matter. Number 4, property damage. More than just your car. The 4th type of damage you can claim is property damage. But I want to make sure you see the full picture here. Most people think this just means the cost to repair or replace your car, and that's definitely a big part of it. After all, a collision with a semi-truck often means your car is totaled or needs major repairs. In Florida, you're entitled to the fair market value of your vehicle if it's totaled, or the repair cost if it's fixable. But property damage can go beyond the vehicle itself. Did you have expensive items in the car? Maybe you had a laptop, work equipment, a car seat, or even just your phone. If those are damaged or destroyed in a crash, you can include their value in your claim. I had a client who was a professional photographer. She was driving home from a wedding when a semi-truck sideswiped her car. Her cameras, lenses, and laptop were all destroyed. We made sure all of those items were included in her claim, not just the car. If you need a rental car while yours was in the shop, those costs are typically covered too. And don't forget about what's called diminished value. After a big accident, your car is worth less even after it's repaired. In Florida, you can claim for that drop in value. So when you're thinking about property damage, look at everything you lost, not just the car itself. Each of those items add up. Number 5, punitive damages, when the trucking company crossed the line. Finally, let's talk about a category most people never even hear about. Punitive damages. These are different from the others because they're not meant to make you whole. They're meant to punish the wrongdoer and send a message. In Florida, punitive damages are rare but not impossible. They come into play if the trucking company or driver did something especially reckless, like driving under the influence, falsifying driving logs, or ignoring safety rules on purpose. If there's proof they knew they were putting lives at risk and did it anyway, the court can award extra damages to punish them. For example, I once handled a case where a trucking company let a driver keep working even though they knew he'd been caught sleeping at the wheel before. When he crashed into my client, we didn't just claim for medical bills and lost wages. We also went after punitive damages because of the company's outrageous behavior. These damages are designed to hit companies in the pocketbook and make sure they clean up their act. If you or your family have been hurt because of gross negligence or intentionally dangerous conduct, don't leave punitive damages on the table. Let your lawyer know if you suspect anything like this was going on. What to do next? Protecting your claim. We've covered the 5 main types of damages you can claim after a semi-truck collision in Florida: medical bills, lost wages, and lost earning capacity, pain and suffering, property damage, and punitive damages. Missing even one of these could mean leaving money, sometimes a lot of money, on the table. Here's my biggest piece of advice. Don't assume the insurance company is going to offer you everything you're owed. Their job is to pay out as little as possible. Your job, hopefully with the right lawyer, is to make a full, honest list of all these damages so that you don't get shortchanged by the insurance company. And remember, the clock is ticking. In Florida, you generally have 2 years from the date of the crash to file a lawsuit for personal injury. But evidence can disappear fast and memories fade. The sooner you get started, the stronger your claim can be. So to wrap up, if you've been in a collision with a semi-truck here in Florida, don't miss out on any of these damages you can claim. It's not just about your car or your first medical bill. It's about your health, your income, your future, and your peace of mind. And trust me, one of the most powerful ways to protect your claim is by gathering the right evidence from the start, especially photos and video. That's why you absolutely need to watch our next video, should you take pictures and video right after your car accident. We'll show you exactly what to do and what not to do to make sure your rights are protected. Click over to that next video right now, because what you do in those first few minutes could make or break your entire case. See you over there.